I didn't put myself through another competition prep just to do a show. I believe I have a story to tell, one that can motivate the doubtful and enlighten the curious. How does an average bachelor with less than stellar genetics and little to no competition experience tackle a daunting task? You clicked on the video, so I won't beat around the bush. You want to know how I lost fat and became stage ready? The answer is calorie deficit. Calorie deficit, as you already know, is just eating fewer calories than you need to. Over time, that's how you lose fat. So here's how I did it. I first went to Google and typed in TDEE calculator. I put my height, weight, age, and a rough estimate of my body fat percentage. Comparing this chart with my current physique at the time, I'd say I was around 16% body fat. I set a plan to work out 5 times a week, which equals 3 to 5 times of work, as my activity level. And just like that, I got my golden number. I don't do the suggested 500 calorie deficit. That's way too aggressive for me. I mean, come on, I want more carbs. Instead, I went by maintenance and just subtracted about 150 to 200 calories from that. I weighed 159 on day 1 at 16% body fat, so my target protein intake would be 150 grams if I round up. I didn't calculate my fat, so I just went with 70 grams for starters. 150 grams times 4 plus 70 grams times 9 is around 1230 calories. Then I subtract that from my daily required intake, divide by 4, and voila, this is how much carbs I can eat per day. The app I use to track my food is MyFitnessPal. I just use the free version. It works well enough. With the numbers already set, we move on to the training schedule. I did alternating days of push and pull routines, 5 times a week. This means the first week I trained push thrice, and the following week I trained pull thrice. This pattern just repeated until the start of peak week. My cardio intensity ramped up every 4 weeks or as needed. Weeks 1 to 4, I did 2 cardio sessions per week. Weeks 5 to 8, I did 3 sessions per week. Weeks 9 to 12, I did 4 sessions per week. By week 13, that was August 29, around 2.5 weeks out from my show, I was doing 5 sessions a week. By week 14, I was doing cardio every day, on top of the 5 strength training sessions I've already been doing. What kind of cardio did I do, you ask? It's a simple 30-minute power walk on the treadmill. I do the first 15 minutes on a level 11 incline and a speed of 4. Then I do the next half at an incline level of 12 and a speed of 5 to 6, depending on how I was feeling. And no, I never once went jogging. I hate doing that. The start is always the most challenging hurdle. I was 159.1 pounds and I had to lose around 14 pounds of fat to at least look good on stage. For the end goal to become a reality, I had to relearn some very crucial habits. So I ate my required daily calories, did my strength training only, no cardio yet. The first week, for me, is meant for reminding myself of the basics and easing the body into the deficit. I would say I did 95% of what I was supposed to do, and guess how much weight I lost? None. That's right, I was still 159.1 pounds. Most people will panic if they don't see the scale nudge. I was disappointed, yes, but that did not faze me. I trust the process and my own work ethic. I knew I could do it and start seeing results soon enough. Of course, I worried a little and just started doing the 2 cardio sessions I planned before this entire thing. I ate the same amount of calories. I didn't change that. On the 3rd Monday of the prep, I weighed myself again. I was so happy when the scale showed 155.8 pounds, marking a 3.3 pound loss. My body was probably recognizing that I was trying to lose some fat and some water weight, so needless to say, I was motivated to keep going. But it was short-lived. The following Monday, I was 156 pounds, which means I gained weight again, which brings me to an important point. Does weight gain always signify that your fat loss isn't working, even if you knew you ate at a deficit? No. It could mean that you're building muscle and losing fat at the same time, or your body just retained some water that week. It's also possible that your deficit isn't enough. In my case, it was a little bit of both. I admit that I wasn't entirely strict with my diet, and I may have had a few snacks here and there. Week 4 definitely confirmed my lack of zealousness. I was 156.6 pounds that Monday morning. Although I was feeling leaner and my clothes are looser, I wanted to see that scale move because that was the whole point of this thing. Given the lack of results and my dissatisfaction with my activity level, I decided to add an additional method to track progress. The tape measure. At this point, my waist was 31.8 inches. It's been 35 days and I believe I could do more. and be stricter with the diet and cardio. I measured my waist and it was 31 inches, 0.8 inches less than last week. Also, I lost a pound. I was so happy with the results. It's amazing what few adjustments could do. I wanted to see how much progress I could make at the same activity level and calorie intake. Luckily, my body doesn't adapt too fast, so I kept losing fat. At this point, my cravings were starting to creep in. My training and cardio sessions were not as intense as the early weeks. My energy was dipping and productivity was slowing down. The deficit was definitely taking its toll. This is where I discovered that refeeds are important, at least in my experience. You're probably wondering why I gained 4 pounds. I watched a powerlifting competition that my friend XRJ participated in, and I probably ate a few slices of pizza. To be honest, each slice was heaven and I couldn't stop eating. I did notice that my motivation and workout intensity increased that Monday morning. I assume it was my leptin levels resetting to normal levels. Cardio sessions are now done 4 times a week. I've never done cardio with that frequency before, so I knew my body won't be ready for it. I felt like I was flanking it from the left and annihilating all its defenses. I weighed in at 154.1 pounds, which was astounding. It's the lowest weigh-in so far. By the 10th week, I was feeling like a machine. I was consistent with my routine and started seeing details that I didn't before. The most challenging part were the cardio sessions, but there was something therapeutic about the activity that I looked forward to. It was a time to be alone and to just drown in your favorite tunes. To me, it was a form of meditation. What's interesting about this entire journey is the realization that you don't get to see the results until you've done 80 to 90% of the work already. For the first 8 weeks, I only lost 1.1 pounds. If I only based my progress on what the scale says, then I would have definitely given up. But despite the mental and physical challenges, I was enjoying the process. I was working towards something. It gave my day a purpose, a reason to get up and pursue something. I remember being grateful every day just to be able to do what I love. I was living. As soon as I stopped worrying about the numbers, that's when the scale began to cooperate. It still fluctuated, but I was happy with the direction. All those weeks of training, cardio, and dieting are now noticeable visually. Sometimes I couldn't believe that I could transform so drastically. With just 4 days left until show day, it was time to ramp up the intensity and go all out. This is when I whip out some simple peak week strategies and shift to more aggressive measures. I did a 3-day depletion followed by a 2-day carb up. During the depletion stages, I would eat little to no carbs and train full body every day as well as the cardio. Those would be my most excruciating stages, very painful, but necessary for the look I want to achieve on stage. I was able to endure those 3 days until my very last cardio session. Funnily enough, I didn't want it to end. I felt like I wanted to do more. I wanted to stay in the gym longer and diet a little bit harder. That mindset was all I needed to finish strong. The day before the show, I just ate my carbs, up to 450 grams of it, and rested to make sure my body recovers from the depleted stage. On the day of the competition, I was the leanest I've ever been. I was high on life and so relieved that I finally made it. At that point, I already felt like I won. My friends and family gave their well wishes. Their support was also a major factor in bringing this home. So, what did we learn from this video? Number 1, slow and steady wins the race. It's a marathon, not a sprint. 2, don't panic when results don't show right away. Make the little adjustments and they will compound over time. 3, believe in the process. Trust it. Every rep you do, every mile you walk, every meal you eat, they all matter. 4, plan ahead and write them down on paper. Your goals become reality when they are written. And finally, don't rely on motivation all the time. Be emotionless about the work you have to do. You're sore, you're tired, you're sleepy, you're feeling lazy that day, it's raining. Good. Let's get to the gym and let's rock and roll. I hope you enjoyed the 16-week breakdown. It has been fun creating this video for you, and it's been something I've been wanting to put out for a long time. Subscribe if you want more content like this, and give it a like if you enjoyed the video, if you learned something. Remember, less simping, more lifting.